And my name is Vidya Sadanandan, and today is the 17th of March, 2026. It's been so many days since the New Year's. Now, the time is 6:43 a.m. I've been trying to log into X app since at least 6:30, kind of, and there's been some X app technical issues. Okay, the thing is, the area of body we will be maintaining health of by the Nirbeeja Yoga style is the region of the shoulders. Now, there's nothing new about the shoulders. We all have shoulders functioning and different methods of healthcare. Those who take care of their health and pay attention to shoulders have a reason to be familiar with the shoulders. Others do not have much of a relationship. It's just a part of the body. Those who know the shoulders to be named as shoulders in English. I have divided the upper part of the body or different parts of the body into 41 parts and 40 of them into 4 parts each so that I can take care of each part in, on different days of the calendar. And I'm doing these lives now because I thought there's benefit to at least talking about it or letting people know there is this way to maintain health of also. So morning and evening live. So about half an hour. The thing is, um, in Nirbeeja Yoga, there is no need to strike a pose or chant anything or visualize or what have you, light incense sticks, use a yoga mat, none of that. You just have to have a body that's human, alive, and be able to understand English, I suppose, or at least we have translation apps. But the thing is, um, you would need to listen to me a little bit. It's like you're going to school. You need to learn your alphabets before you can form your words and sentences and then read volumes, texts. And the textbook we would be learning, and we have lots of learning to do. The textbook we would be learning is a human body. And well, you would think, what's new about it? We have so many methods of healthcare, and we still have WHO's global list of diseases. Different people in different stages of looking at health and the same human body across the globe. We are all on the same planet Earth and having diseases. The World Health Organization formed since some time, but how we look at causes for health and what we do about resolving them is taking some time in a world that also has AI to be able to communicate, develop our content, spread the message across through, and it's taking time. So, and one of the things I figured is we look at the same human body like the six blind men and the elephant. We're not seeing the same human body. We are seeing our own versions of what the human body is. Some in terms of energy, they say we are all energy. Some say we are all hormones. Some say we are all body parts. We can also 3D print and then replace them. Yeah. Some even say all energy, like Reiki. So we can't. And some say homeopathy, so much parts water. So if you dilute the medicine in so one by so many parts, that has an effect on the body. So we are each looking at the same human body from their own perspectives. Yeah. And then there's this idea of the elephant. Elephant is a very humane creature. Yeah, it is said that if you put elephant, a lot of chicks with an elephant, the elephant won't move for fear of the chicks dying, so it stands still. Yeah, so we are talking about a different level of thinking. You're talking in terms of a humane being, where a human has formed from also animals who used to move on 4 limbs. Yeah. And when we are not maintaining our health and then moving in a way that we become a humane being and function as a humane being and continue functioning as a humane being, we tend to devolve into animal behavior or behaviors which is not conducive to evolving further into becoming into what is possible from having a body that's human. Okay? Excuse me, I got a little bit of a sniffle. Thing is, the area of the shoulder on which is the neck, on which is the head, is a fine little stack of well, structures that keeps our human body upright. Like we can stand really straight. Giraffes, apes, gorillas, chimpanzees, they've taken some time to over time also form the human body composition. That's the closest resemblance we have. I don't think we can compare giraffe over time to forming the human, though they have the same cervical spine, seven cervical spines forming a long neck. We also have seven cervical spine. But it takes a little stretch of imagination to think giraffes over time evolved into humans. Yeah. But closest we can think of is apes. And we have the idea of the Hanuman with the long tail. And then, so there's this idea of the Dashavatara, with Hanuman being one of the revered natural forms. And then the Dashavatara is talking about different states of being and becoming. And then there is the Dashavatara male forms and Dashami female forms. So whether you're male or female, we are on the same planet. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. We are from the same planet and have a body that's human, which go through different stages of evolution, development, becoming humaner, which is represented by the idea of the Dashavatara and Dashami. So you could have all weapons or have animal behavior, but it takes something to be human and humane. So given that we have a body that's upright, and the idea of the Dashavatara Dashami is talking about different stages of development, different seasons, hormones, males or females, you have hormones. Yeah. And hormones give rise to different seasons. You have mood swings. No. Moods, different moods. When light affects your body differently, your hormonal effect combined with magnetic effect gives you different ways of being. That could be quite colorful. And what comes out of your mouth could make or break the deal. Yeah. So, given all of these challenges, and we are all in different um, altitudes from sea level in our individual geographical location, maintaining the health of the same human body template, but each of us unique in our own ways. Yeah, we only have to look at the mirror and see how different we are from each other. While 99.9% we are humans, and that 0.1%, according to what the person said, is the difference we are seeing in between our different, what the mirror reflects to us. So, the area of the shoulder, or let's just say the upper body, um, I am um, dividing into the shoulders, or this is just the upper arm, not the thorax. The upper arm has been divided into four parts. The uppermost is the shoulder joints, and then you have the biceps, and you have the triceps, and you have the elbows. All of this part of the upper arm. And then we come to the chest. So I have put up this calendar on my website, www.dynamicstillnesses.com, on the page named Dailies. On that is the calendar for this month, and you find the different parts of the body for this month listed on that page. So, the area of the shoulders. I invite you to take a seat on a chair which at least balances your body in a manner that you don't have to cross your legs, and you can place your feet flat on the ground with your knees able to be maintained at a 90-degree angle, because that'll give less tension to your upper body, and your skeletal framework is more supported in the sense the bones, how the bones join with other bones is in the least tension manner. So the whole structure mechanically just supports itself by the angles, by the joints. And then try and lean back on the back of your chair. Hopefully there's a back to your chair. And then sit comfortably such that your pelvis is well supported by your chair. Okay? So that would give your muscles least concern for for your survival. If you're going to be sitting in a higgledy-piggledy manner, your muscles will have to keep managing the balance between left and right. So sit comfortably so your muscles are not having to make sure you're alive. Okay? So your muscles can relax. For sure that you're going to be alive while you're sitting. Now, Hopefully, you're sitting in a place where it's safe enough that you can be sitting and your life is still going to be safe. Yeah. Okay. Now, if that sentence had your shoulders go a bit up, that's the region of the body we'll be maintaining today. Okay. Now, the shoulders are the region just next to the neck. Yeah. Left and right sides. If we were birds, they would be wings. Yeah. Kind of. They will form the shoulder girdle or the wing girdle. Yeah. So sometimes we have flights of ideas. And the shoulder girdle tends to go with the flight of ideas. Yeah. They move consciously, unconsciously, superconsciously as you have different thoughts, different ideas. If you pay attention to how your shoulder moves while you're having different ideas, you will notice subtle movements of your shoulder muscles and joints, wanting to keep in pace with your mind, yeah, or how your thought lines are. Um, so they are so here, this is where the mind-body connection is more finely sensible, palpable. Yeah, very fine connections. Now, some of them have their shoulders a little frozen because of how much they have been keeping themselves down than paying attention to what their ideas are trying to show them or lead them to. Yeah. And they maybe refutely, I will not go there. Yeah. But it could also be that they are so stoically sitting that their muscles have gotten into the habit of being that way. Yeah. So a gentle stretch every now and then would help your shoulder tissues loosen up. But how do we do that without moving a muscle? So I invite you to bring your attention to your shoulders and pay attention to any sense of warmth in your shoulders. And that could be the shoulder joints themselves or the upper part of the shoulders. Yeah. Nevertheless, try and bring attention to any sense of warmth, any sense of softness about anywhere about your shoulders. Now we are today is about the upper arm and the shoulder joint related with the upper arm. But without paying attention to the shoulder, the upper part of the shoulder related with your trunk, it becomes a little, let's say, cool than to warm up to the awareness of the shoulders. Yeah. So try and bring attention to any sense of softness, warmth, and moisture, if that's possible. Because moisture is also part of the how is part of how the human body is made. And the shoulders are like also the thoracic inlet, wherein arteries and veins move from the chest to the head, and cranial nerves also from the head through the neck to the shoulders to the rest of the body. So there is fluid in your body. So when you pay attention to any sense of moisture in your shoulders, you're more likely to notice a lubrication about the tissues of your shoulders. And I'm using a lot of words, but feeling any sense of moisture about the shoulders makes a big difference in how you notice the different tissues related with other tissues of your body. And why is that important? The mind body relationship, or the relationship between physical, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, consciousness, what have you, which is also what our human body is made up of, and known and unknown facets too. They all have a tissue also based relationship. So it's matter and energy. We are not just energy. We are made up of different kinds of matter, and we matter. When we regard ourselves as just part of the whole and don't matter, then our shoulders also experience a collateral, so to speak, a congruent, corresponding, morphological um, way of being. That then makes your life a little difficult because you think you don't matter. Your shoulders kind of behave like you don't matter. And then your experience of living, your patterns, your behaviors, what you do, what you don't do, becomes consistent with how you think of yourself. So your shoulders are, well, your wings. Yeah. The wind beneath your wings is also the breath that you have. So your wings needs to be functioning well for your uh, wind to also to be functioning well. Yeah. So it's not just about flights of feathers. Your ability to be on ground, be human, is affected by the health of your shoulders. Because if you're having frozen shoulders, you can't have flight of ideas. Because your mind and your shoulders are related. Yeah, like in birds. So human beings formed after Archaeopteryx, for example, reptiles. Yeah, dinosaurs. Archaeopteryx is a dinosaurian form that took flight while others were on the ground. They were like, "What in the world are you doing?" Yeah, and this is a dinosaur that took flight. And over time became the birds that we know of today. Yeah, and human beings formed, including the technology of flight incorporated inside the human body, which is why we have the ideas of angels and demons with birds, with wings, because they are past evolutionary forms of how human beings formed. And we humans have formed without wings, but still have the scapula where wings would have been. So ingenious technology. This human body has bee technology, honeybees, bird technology, what have you, underground living creatures, including octopuses technology, all kinds of technology into this one human body structure. It is amazing. Now, we are paying attention to the shoulders. Yeah. One engineering marvel and in an alive form. Yeah. Not machine parts just put together. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm so, all right. Now, bring your attention to your shoulder joints. Because when you pay attention to shoulder joints, which is like the sockets where your arms are fixed to your thoracic cage, while being aware that your upper shoulders tend to have flights of ideas. And then you're noticing the joint about, the shoulder sockets, while being aware that the upper part of the shoulders, muscles, have an influence on that shoulder socket. Okay? And we're going to pay attention to the shoulder socket, which is the upper part of the upper arm. Yeah? Part one of the upper arm. Sorry, you got these sniffles. Right. Try and pay attention to your, well, let's just say, now this is going to sound odd. Pay attention to the space of your shoulder joint. How do you do that? Excuse me? How do you do that? Notice the tissue of the shoulder joint. Now there are bones, there are muscles, there is skin, there are arteries and veins and stuff. Yeah. And for some people, paying attention to the uppermost portion of their shoulder joints may be difficult because it may be a little spaced out. Because we have wing-like structures, kind of, yeah. We have the shoulder joint, which would have been birds' flight structures, but don't have the wings. Okay? And we have ideas, and we have to use these wing structures, the arms would have been birds' wings, but we use them to write and to type and to do daily activities. So there may be a certain sense of dissociation. While the mind would like to do something, your body's. So, what I'm basically saying is human beings are still in the making. We are still arriving at the human body we have. It's called the incorporation. We haven't yet incorporated into the human structure we have because we are still appreciating the same human body from different angles. Energy, Reiki, in terms of pranic healing. So it's like we're talking about it's made of engines, it's made of nuts, it's bolts, made of plates, and we are still appreciating the machinery. While we still don't know how all this functions or why is this structure formed, I discovered the human body is designed to enliven life in the multiverse. That takes a whole lot of incorporation so that you're one with the body you have. While people are saying you are not your body, you are there and you have your body, and they have flights of ideas. Yeah. So, incorporation, and people are seeking liberation from life because they are living in the body. Yeah. They have a life from living in the body, but they are taught to dissociate from the body. Like you have a body, you're not your body. That creates some existential angst for what the human body is designed for and what's our health maintenance practices. Okay? So our shoulders over time age in a way that is asymmetrical, which then does not allow for our mind to have the imagination it requires, one, and two, the intellect it requires to function as a human. So we have the left brain and the right brain, and they are related with two sides of the shoulders also, because the right brain innervates the left part of the body, and left brain innervates the right part of the body. And we have dissociation concerns, fight, flight, freeze, or dissociation. Yeah, these are our survival strategies. Yeah, when it's too difficult, you dissociate because you are not your body. Yeah, and then you have problems with working with your body in living your life and facing the challenges and doing what needs to be done. Yeah, so we are still in different stages of becoming human while we already have the name of human beings. We are still yet to inquire what does being mean, and then the human body structure. What does it mean to be human? Okay, now this seems like preaching, but we are still about the region of the shoulders. Now, try flapping your arms. Yeah, you're likely to notice something about your shoulder joints. If you are aware of your shoulder joints, notice the tiny movements that your arm flapping has on your bones of your shoulders, because those are muscles. If you cannot feel the muscles, try and swing your arms left or front and back. You're likely to notice some stretch of how the muscles associate with the shoulder bones. Some movements, because the muscles are attached to the bones of the shoulders, and when you move your muscles, the shoulder muscles are designed in such a way to support flexion and contraction, or expansion, contraction, flexion, extension. So the muscles are aligned in the left and right, front and back, in and out, in such a way to support movement. So any kind of movement you make, circular motion, when you're doing circular motion, for example, pay attention to the tiny movements in the region of your shoulder joints. This will be movement based, but to arrive at movement less, paying attention to the stretch, the tiny muscle fibers. So your muscle are there in bundles, and the bundles are made up of muscle fibers. So when you move your arms very slightly and can feel a stretch of the muscles in any so manner, light, heavy, tense, any so manner, the movement is from the fibers of your muscle joints, muscle bundles, and they are very differently related. So I recommend downloading this app, Visible Body or Biodigital Human. There you will find 3D images of the human body. So you would get a little more familiar with how your body structures are made. So that would help you get a little more familiar with the same human body you've been living like forever. Yeah. And different people around you also function with the same human body. That is, if you're working with human beings. If you're working with robots, you will still have an appreciation of technology, object subject relationship. intelligence, artificial intelligence, original intelligence. Yeah. So nature and technology. So you would be able to appreciate in a biomechanical but also biodynamic manner while you're in movement. So visible body or biodigital human. Okay. And so there you would be able to see the shoulder in different orientations. Yeah. The muscles oriented in different angles. Um, And then bring your attention to your shoulders in terms of any sense of warmth. It may be difficult for people who may be in different stages of having a frozen shoulder, like cold, frozen shoulder. But frozen shoulder is sometimes a sign of fight, flight, freeze. Yeah. You wanted to do something, but you had to just sit there and listen to your boss screaming at you. Yeah. Like you wanted to run away, so you froze, or somebody shouted at you, and then you froze. And your shoulders, flight of ideas, your imagination probably imagined doomsday hotlines, and your shoulders in some ways show up. Yeah. Now, try and pay attention to any sense of warmth or softness about the upper part of your shoulders. This may seem pretty repetitive in what I'm saying, but I cannot say enough about the importance of warmth, softness, and any sense of moisture about your tissues, about different parts of your body. Because warmth, softness, moisture brings about a humane relationship with your body, which may be a little closer to care. But care has a different set of physical sensations. But warmth, softness, moisture brings you a little more closer to being humanely related to your body. Okay? And then there are other set of words. For example, gentle, um, kind. That takes a little while getting familiar with what does that feel like. It takes a little while. But let's begin with warmth, any sense of softness, any sense of moisture. Yeah, because your body is warm, soft, moist, because you have blood moving through your body. So there is definitely fluid. Warmth, because your blood is naturally warm. Human beings have warm blood. If you can feel the warmth in your blood, you are feeling into one of the aspect of being human. And your tissues are soft, not like a chair or iron or wall. Your human body is made of soft tissues. So if you can feel the softness without touching your body, you are feeling into a humane aspect. And I'm not just saying human because what it means to be human, we sometimes take it for granted, like we already know it. But humane is an experience. So try and feel the warmth, softness, or any sense of moisture about the upper portion of your shoulders, okay, up your upper arm, about the shoulder joints. And then try and notice any sense of bones in your shoulder joints. Now, there'll be a lot of bones. For example, the shoulder girdle, the shoulder socket itself, has a combination of your upper arm bone in a socket relationship with your shoulder girdle. Okay? So that's like your hips joining with your pelvis. You have your upper arms related with your shoulder girdle. So if you were animals, we would be walking on pelvic girdle and shoulder girdle. They would form the joints of an animal. We are humans. We stand upright. So we call the front pelvic girdle as a shoulder and the hind pelvic girdle as well pelvis. Yeah, and the hip joint. And we can you see how the animal has opened up into standing upright? Quite a remarkable engineering, yeah? How we evolved like this. Ooh, yeah. And our hind foot move backwards and our arms move not quite the same way. The knees bend backwards, the elbows move forward. Yeah, it would be like a ghost structure. Yeah, but yeah, like the animals went a little, oh my God. Yeah, the structure went a little off. So it's not exactly animal. But a remarkable engineering of many, many organisms put together that our elbows can move forward and knees can move backward. Yeah, a ghost like, yeah, or a scary movie skeletal structure. Yeah, but we have a body that's human and we are standing upright. And this engineering allows for us to do different activities. For example, we can sit and work on a computer. Imagine if the knees and elbows were in the same direction. Yeah, scary. Or we can't do the work we do. Our civilization wouldn't take shape the way it does. Yeah, we can't sit anywhere. We can't walk. Okay, but you know how interesting this gets. Now, and we have to maintain becoming a humane being who can take care of Earth and all that there is, like and live in life in the multiverse. That's what the human body is designed for. We're supposed to take care. And our ability to care sometimes goes into fight, flight, freeze. And we have frozen shoulders. Yeah. So warming up and bringing a little bit of mobility in our different joints helps maintain being human at least. And then becoming humane is a few paces of feeling into the warmth, softness, moisture. Yeah. And a little gentleness, a little kindness, a little care for yourself. Yeah. Because you're not a machine part or just a pillar in a building. Yeah. You have, you're also the weight bearing surface, but you're also human, organic weight bearing surface, a combination of tree, animal, microbes, insects, what have you, in a human body form. Yeah. So, ghost also, by the structural difference or benefit, best of both worlds, or best of many worlds. Yeah. Amazing engineering. Yeah. Now, which is why we couldn't see the human body. Because, yeah, alrighty. Now, try every now and then to just move your shoulders because then your flight of ideas will have a more grounded ways of thinking. Yeah, because you may want to have your flight of ideas, but you are supposed to finish that task in front of you and not get too creative. Yeah, keep your mind focused on it. Just move your shoulders every now and then. So your creativity has a little juice. Yeah, a little exercise while you are maintaining all that one little task that you need to complete, and you're not getting frustrated because your shoulders are exercising your flight of ideas. Yeah, and keep a little textbook or surface to just doodle every now and then, or uh, let's just say some you have these colorful tactile things that you can keep moving, but your tendency to move will have something to move while you're doing this. I can't say boring mundane. It could be a task that you really need to do, which then brings about color in your life. Yeah. But meanwhile, you need to see those colorful things while you're doing sometimes just a white surface with black text on it. Yeah. Keep something colorful around you. So you know you're getting to a better place. And doing this work will get you to there. So you're having it while you're getting this. So have the apple and eat it too. Yeah. Some simple little ways like that. Now, um, if this has your shoulder be a little more relaxed in some manner, we cannot say we've done a good job, but we have done some job in warming up to what it means to have a shoulder in a human body. Yeah. And hopefully we will meet in the evening where morning time the sun is just rising. So the shoulder physiology, what our thoughts and ideas can bring forth in the morning while the light is just coming up and different people are doing their yoga practices and many things, and that has an effect on our physiology, whereas versus evening people are not doing these yoga and different activities. So the brain waves in the different geographical locations will be different, and so our shoulders will be functioning differently because the environment is not doing the morning activities, you're doing evening activities. Yeah. And after a day's work, what the shoulder does is different from what the day shoulder does in the morning. So we will appreciate the same shoulder joint in the evening and see how is the shoulder functioning and what thoughts, ideas inspires us to take care of our shoulders by. Yeah, because the mind and body are related, and how they're related would be more appreciable at different times of the day. Morning, evening, 6:30 to 7. So do join and let's have some fun. Let's discover something new. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope this has been of value to you. Good day.